This episode of the Local Hustlers podcast is brought to you by Flamingo Pools, your go-to maintenance and repair company in the East Valley. Stop wasting your valuable time trying to take care of your pool and let the professionals at Flamingo Pools take care of it for you. Visit azflamingopools.com for a free quote today.
You're listening to the Local Hustlers Podcast, East Valley Locals. Get connected with small businesses near you and dive deep into their stories, mindset, and motives. Entrepreneurs everywhere. Get ready to be inspired by business owners, entrepreneurs, and hustlers that you can relate to and learn from. And now, your hosts, Dallin Huso and Ridge Waldberg.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Local Hustlers podcast. Today, we are excited to have with us the power couple and lover of all things outdoors, Sammie and Austin Merrell of Cruisin Photo Bus. Thanks for being here, guys. We
Absolutely.
really appreciate it.
This is fun.
So
We're excited.
Awesome. Well, before we jump into it, we hear that the word on the street is that you guys have a pretty funny love story. We'd like to hear a bit about that before we kind of dive in more.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Tinder.
We've heard of Tinder.
Never.
I'm totally
Yeah, he's
Totally
totally
joking.
kidding. That's not the story.
not the story at all. I'll let you tell it.
Okay, well, just a mutual friend. One of my best friends in college was one of his best friends in high school, and he'd always talk about Austin, and he'd be like, you know, I'm one of my best friend. He's really tan, and you're really tan, and you guys should just get married and have 10 kids.
That is what he said.
It is, and anyway, we became friends, and then Austin left on hit to serve LDS mission, and we just kept in contact, and we were just friends. And then when he got home, that's when we started dating. But
I will say, I knew the second I met Sammie, I knew I was going to marry her. However,
yeah, you told your mom or something.
I did. I told my mom. I drove down to Arizona to visit my buddy Jordan, he was the one who introduced us, and
Yeah.
I came back to Utah, and my parents and I were out on the boat, and I said, I'm gonna marry Sammie. They hadn't even met her,
Yeah.
but I did say that. My mom will.
I didn't even know that
attest
story
to
until
it.
after we got married.
Yeah.
You can't give that one away at first.
No.
Well, he also didn't tell me this story, which is when my road trip buddy, I was moving up to Utah, and they bailed, and I didn't have anybody to drive with, and I get really sleepy when I drive. So my mom's like, "You have to find somebody to drive with you." And I was talking to Austin, like I think on the phone, and I was like, he's like, "Wait, I can drive with you." And I'm like, "But you're in Seattle." And he's like, "Oh, but my dad works for the airlines and I can fly down for free." And I was like, "Okay." So he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll come down tomorrow." And I was like, "Okay." And little did I know, he took a ferry to a train and took the train to the airport and then walked. And there was no flights from Seattle to Phoenix. There was only flights from Seattle to Tucson.
Oh.
And so he just like picked me up at 5 at Phoenix Airport. And so I did. But I had no idea that he had, taken a ferry to a train.
I was on an island outside of Seattle. Yeah, took a ferry to the city, took a train from the city to the airport, flew to Tucson,
Oh, shit.
walked 2 miles down the road to a rundown subway where I got picked up by a shuttle. Not joking, by the way, by a shuttle who drove me from Tucson to the Phoenix airport.
That is dedication
Wow.
right
I
there.
know.
I just walked into the bathroom, got cleaned up, put on some deodorant.
Acted like he just got off the
Acted
plane.
like I just walked off the plane.
And literally he had been
Legend.
awake since like 4 a.m. or something.
Yeah, it was
and
early.
it was a lot.
I was scared because this was the first time that we had seen each other since I had been back.
Yeah.
An LDS mission is 2 years, so
Yeah.
I'd been gone for 2 years. Hadn't seen her for 2 years, and so I had to put on a good impression. But I did not want to let her know all the trouble I went through.
Because that'd be weird.
That would have been
I would've
super
been
weird.
like, no. That's a little crazy, but it's really sweet now looking back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
So yeah, we drove up to Utah together, where she moved to Provo and I was living in Orem.
Yeah, we
at
both
the
went
time.
to UVU.
Both went to UVU.
So you both went to college?
We went. Did we graduate?
We attended
finished?
college.
No.
You started.
We started, but we life took us elsewhere.
Yeah.
It really, I would love to go back because I just think that's a really cool accomplishment, and I really think there's a lot of value in having a degree and learning, and I just like learning, and so I think I would really like to go back, but I life took us elsewhere, and I'm so glad it did. So no regrets there.
Yeah, we're huge advocates for education and getting a degree. Like, yeah, we're big advocates on that. But like Sammie said, just life took us elsewhere.
Nice. So what was the start of life taking you off the path of college?
That's a good question.
One, we really couldn't afford it after a certain point. Like when we were newlywed, we did FAFSA for a year, and then we couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
And then Cruisin, we started Cruisin. I really actually think that that's what kind of, took us away from finishing. And you went to school. I also was pregnant, and I was so tired. I was working 3 jobs. We just started Cruisin. He was working 3 jobs and going to school, and we were so tired. And so, that's kind of what happened, I feel like.
Yeah. So we moved after we went to Utah Valley University for a year. We got married and moved to Arizona, and we both went to Mesa Community College for a little while. And I remember actually stepping outside of class to talk to you about buying our first bus, and kind of never looked back as far as the entrepreneurial.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't think that anything that school had right then for us is going to bring any value to what we were trying to pursue at that moment.
Yeah.
Whether we'd go back, I'd for sure love to go back, and maybe later down the road when our kids are a little bit older or something. But it's kind of just what happened. Yeah.
Where did the idea come from? Like, was one of you doing photo stuff or?
No, we're not photographers. That's a really common question though.
Okay.
We were just looking for, like I said, I was working 3 jobs. I was working at Parks and Rec for Town of Gilbert. I was a dance teacher, and I had like a little handmade side business. Cool. And he worked at Home Depot, and I got him a job at Parks and Rec too. And
I coached baseball.
And you coached baseball.
Oh, wow.
And so, and we were both going to school. We were so tired, and
we like never saw each other.
We never saw each other. And then we got pregnant really fast after we got married, and it was a little scary thinking about what are we going to do. And I was, I really wanted to be able to be at home. Yeah. With my kids. And so we were just looking for an opportunity to do that. Mm-hmm. And a friend that was getting married had asked us if we had ever heard of like a photo booth truck or a photo booth bus. And I'm like, no, I've never heard of that. And they're like, oh, I just think that you would know about something like that. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm not in that wedding industry or anything. I don't know why they asked us really. Mm-hmm. But they asked us, and then that day we looked up and we thought that is such a cool idea. And also VW bus is like my dream car.
And I was gonna say that's like ever since I was a kid, that's been my dream.
It was.
When we saw you guys and saw what you did, is like, we need that.
Yeah, we went to your wedding.
Yeah,
didn't we?
yeah, you guys.
Oh, we did.
Awesome. Yeah.
I was wondering that you look familiar.
Yeah.
You guys both look familiar, actually, but.
Where I am, he's usually there. So
that's true.
That's how it goes.
So yeah, we were like, that's a really cool idea, and then we like saw how much people were charging for it, and we were like, oh, okay, we gotta do this.
And there was nobody doing it in Arizona at the time that we had started. There was maybe one in Texas and one in like Boston or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, no, there's one in Northern California. I remember that.
Oh,
but
really? Okay.
I don't think there was any other ones at that time.
So yeah, we saw that they were charging $1,000 to go hang out at a wedding for 4 hours, and we were like, geez, we can do that, and we can pay off our dream vehicle. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. So we did it. That night we messaged somebody on Craigslist, and the next day we bought the bus.
Really?
And it was so scary, guys. We had no money. We were so broke, and it was so scary buying it. But Austin blood, sweat, and tears in that vehicle, and it was
Blood, sweat, and swear words.
That's probably what it'd
the
be
real
for me.
Absolutely.
And tears.
Yeah,
I'm an emotional person, but
you never swear.
yeah, that's true. I never swear.
But yeah, it's yeah, it was really scary, but it ended up working out. So I mean, after that first bus, what really launched our business was the Arizona Bridal Show. So that
Yeah.
we did a Kickstarter and we raised enough money
Oh.
to get a booth
In the bridal
at the
show.
bridal show.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay,
there's-
so that's what the money was for, to get a booth there.
Correct. Yeah.
What is that exactly? The Arizona Bridal Show?
It's it's like an expo that
Right,
brides
okay.
and grooms
That's
go
what I
to,
thought.
and they can basically plan their whole wedding
Huh.
in a day. There's hundreds of vendors there.
I'm pretty sure it's the biggest bridal expo in North America, actually.
Really?
As far as the amount of people.
So
that
people come from all over, or just Arizona?
Mostly Arizona. You get people from California, like
Right.
all of the neighboring states. But yeah, I mean, they have 3,000
Yeah,
brides
like over
register
3,000, that's crazy.
and come to the event. It's a mad.
Is it just like a once a year thing that they do?
They
or
do
twice a year?
semi-annually.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
that was really a different kind of marketing
Yeah.
for us, and it really worked for us. When people see the bus in person and they get to go inside and they're like, what? Now it prints pictures out. I mean, they really loved it, and that was really cool. I think that's really what
Yeah. And it was such a new concept, at least for, I mean, in general, but in Arizona in particular. So the visual at the bridal show really did us well, because you see it online, or like you talk about it and you're like, a photo booth in a Volkswagen bus, like what is that? But then when you see it and you see the smiles on people's faces and like 10 people cramming in the bus getting pictures, and then it prints out, and then you can text it to yourself, like it really creates, like the whole business creates an experience
Right.
for somebody, which is really what we've kind of based the whole thing off of. Cruisin is not a photo bus. It's more of like a lifestyle, or like an experience.
For sure.
Mhm.
Cool. So did either of you have any sort of business experience before, or like learn anything about business in college before jumping in, or how did you guys, figure out how to get started with all this?
it was a rough road the first year.
Trial and error.
Yeah.
We really just kind of hit the ground running. We really did. We were like, all right, let's figure out this. I mean, Google something, figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's this? Someone's asking for this
YouTube
sort of
or-
paper. What is that? I don't even know what that is. I don't know why they're asking for it. Google it. Fill it out.
Yeah.
Send it over.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. We didn't really know a lot, but I think that like I personally didn't really realize that I enjoyed the entrepreneurial life like at all until after we got married. I never really considered myself
Right.
an entrepreneur, even though I really do think I always had that. I mean, I remember being in 4th grade and making these like little string pom things, like little charms, and then I'd make like bracelets in high school. And then I remember in high school, my mom, she's a pretty creative, talented person, and she would draw on these vans, and I would help her, and then I'd be like, oh, like they were like game day shoes, and I put them in the spirit store in high school, and I would sell them. And then in college, I would just try to get by and get, I think that we're both pretty scrappy. I definitely think that's something that we've always had a part of us, and that we've implemented in our businesses. You just have to be scrappy.
Yeah.
And, we, in college, I'm just trying to afford rent and sew like these scarves, and my mom would help me sew these scarves, and I would go to like the boutiques in Provo and stuff and sell these scarves, and I really never even considered myself like an entrepreneur, but I was doing all those like kind of things, like the stepping stones. I always had ideas, but I never really told people until like on our honeymoon, I told him an idea I had been sitting on for like 4 years, and
Nothing to do
like,
with Cruisin' or anything,
Cruisin',
just the
really.
rent.
Actually did involve a VW bus, but
It did, that's true.
But I told him this idea, and he's like, "Wait, that's an amazing idea." And I think Austin was really the person that kind of showed me how to have faith in ideas.
Yeah.
And I think that you can have all the ideas in the world, but unless you truly have the guts to go for it, nothing's gonna happen if you really don't believe in it. And him believing in me taught me how to kind of believe in myself and believe in my ideas, even to be brave enough to share them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that definitely I feel like kind of happened after we got married. So months. And
Yeah.
we started this. We've been on a roll since then, I guess.
Austin, you mentioned that there was a lot of trial and error starting at first. Was there any specific scenarios or things that happened to you guys where you messed up, or hurdles you guys had to climb over at the beginning?
That's a good question. In particular, I know nothing about cars.
Yeah.
And to buy a 50-year-old vehicle was really out of my expertise.
Yeah.
So that in itself was, trial and error, YouTube videos,
Right.
ordering parts. Like, shoot, I don't know where this goes, but I'll watch a video on it and find out.
Yeah, breaking down on the side of the freeway.
Yeah.
And you're like working on the car.
Right.
Broke down on the side of the freeway on my way to an event.
No.
Luckily, I had the belt that I needed, and
Oh.
YouTube, okay, switch it, and I made it on time.
Wow.
Okay.
And then things about contracts, and that's a big thing to make sure. And insurance is another thing. We researched a lot about insurance and contracts. Marketing, the whole thing was a learning experience.
Yeah.
And really relatable to all types of business, I think.
For sure.
Because I feel like in the wedding industry, you're held to a pretty high standard, because this is, in most cases, a person's only wedding. This is the one day that they spend thousands and thousands of dollars on to remember for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And if you don't perform, or something goes wrong, things, it really can ruin that person's day and that person's event. So, I could go on customer satisfaction, performance, technology, photo booth equipment, everything was just a trial and error.
We're in a good place now, but I think our biggest trial definitely has been COVID.
Uh-huh.
That's
100%.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a bit about that experience and what happened with you guys?
I do now. If you would have asked me a month ago, I probably would have said, no,
touchy.
don't talk to me. But yeah, so basically you tell them what happened.
So that's it. That's what happened.
There we
That's
go.
a great idea. Let me preface with, I think just about every small business, doesn't matter the industry you're in, suffered from COVID-19.
For sure.
So there's a lot of people that can empathize with the struggles that we have
Right.
had, and vice versa. So we were on vacation on the North Shore of Oahu. March 5th is when we got there.
Anyway.
Okay. Anyway. So
Doesn't matter
okay.
where we were. We were just
We're-
on vacation, and the emails started rolling in.
So we were on vacation. We were on Hawaii, and over there, life is good. You're on the beach every day.
Right.
News doesn't
That's
really hit.
awesome, yeah.
But we would wake up every morning to a new email or a new bunch of emails saying, hey, I want to postpone my event, or I want to cancel my event. And we're like, what in the world is going on back home? And so start reading the news, and all of these headlines obviously start coming up, and we're like, oh my gosh, what is happening?
Yeah.
We actually ended up coming home a day early
Oh, wow.
so that we could go home and face these issues of people canceling. It started with 1, and then it was 10 people wanting to postpone, and then it was 20, and then 30, and then 40, and we're like, what is happening?
Oh,
This
no.
is a big problem.
Yeah, I mean it's also our business is very seasonal.
Yeah.
With Arizona, nobody gets married in
Yeah.
the summer. I mean, we did,
Except
but
us.
we're crazy. But nobody really gets married in the summer in
Right.
Arizona. So our high months are March through beginning of May, and then end of September to November.
Oh, so that peak season, you guys.
Yeah,
I mean, we
really
were
missed
just
out on.
getting in. We
Yeah.
were going to get home, and I mean, we had 40, 50 events in the next
Yeah.
2 months.
Wow.
And so, I mean, that's our income for the summer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's half of our
It
income for
fuels
the year.
the business
Yeah.
for the rest of the
So,
year. And obviously we weren't able to do any events during April because of the restrictions that were put in place. And then even May, people have canceled. I mean, we haven't done an event since March 20th, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a rough couple of
Wow.
weeks. I mean, and even knowing how to deal with refunds, and I mean,
Yeah.
people are asking
Yeah.
for refunds, and we're like,
Contracts and verbiage in the contracts, things like that.
and we were like, well, we don't have 45 people's deposits in our bank account. You paid that deposit a year and a half ago, because
Yeah.
people book
Right.
us. People will usually book us, like, I'd say a year in advance.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I mean, and I feel so bad for these bride and grooms that did plan their wedding for the last year, 2 years, and then, like, in a week, it's gone. And
Wow.
and most vendors were not doing deposits. I mean, I don't...
Refunds?
Or, sorry,
They're doing
refunds. Yeah, refunds. They were not doing refunds. I mean, we talked to a lot of our vendor friends, and they're all small businesses, and they're like, well, if we refund one person, we're gonna have to refund 50,
Right.
and we don't have 50
Yeah.
refunds to give.
Uh-huh.
And so a lot of people were in the same... I mean, the way this affected the wedding industry, the event industry, is just wild. I mean, you never really think that something could happen like this, and it did. And I mean, it was a really dark couple of weeks.
It's been a humbling experience.
Very.
You do not know how quickly things can be taken away from you.
Yeah.
Because before that, we just dropped a lot of money on vacation. Like, life was sweet, and we were doing well.
Right.
And
It was just not even on our radar.
Real,
Yeah.
No,
We're
no
not
one's radar,
even-
right?
It
No.
just came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I mean, within a couple of days, I mean, it changed
Yeah.
so millions of people's lives. Like, and what a roller coaster! Holy cow! To be going on with basically the whole world.
Yeah.
But with that being said, everybody's kind of feeling the pain from COVID, and we were really struggling. I mean, we did not know what to do. And I feel like my brain just shut down. Usually it can be like, okay, get creative, think of something, here we go. And it's actually happened we have 3 buses now.
Uh-huh.
And with the last 2 buses that we kind of bought during a time where we were stressed out. We need something new. And we're like, okay, well, let's risk it and get another bus and see if it works out. And it does.
Yeah.
It always did. And we were very blessed.
we tend to go for it when we're put in a corner. Like, when we bought our second bus, I had been working for the town of Gilbert, and they laid me off.
Oh, wow.
And and I don't think you were pregnant with Emmy yet. Maybe you were.
We were.
Yeah, so we were pregnant with our second. I lost my job.
Goodness.
We had one
Yeah.
bus, and we were like, okay, well, what do we do?
So
And we
it's
were
still
saving
part-time
for a
thing
house
at the time.
Yeah, I mean, we did 30 events the first year with
Okay.
the one bus.
Yeah, and then it jumped up to 92 events, from 30 to 92 events
That's
in
insane.
a year, and then this third year
we
was
did
152
152 events.
152.
Yeah.
So we were drastically growing, but it was because we were put under pressure, and we really just went
We've
for
always
it.
done well under pressure, and then COVID happened, and that pressure really broke.
Yeah.
the back.
I feel like it broke my mind. My creative little piece of my brain just wasn't working.
Which, let me say, Sammie, I am biased because she's my wife, but
Right.
she is literally one of the most creative people that I have ever met. And under pressure, she does very well. Like she said in the beginning, when she had to pay rent, she didn't just hide out in a room. She went and sold scarves at a boutique, or whatever it was. So she's always been like that.
Yeah.
And to see her react this way to COVID, it put me in somewhat of a dark place too. To wow, this is a real
If
a
she's
real
struggling,
thing.
then it's real,
if
right?
she's struggling, then we are done for.
Yeah. Well, it was a hopeless time. I don't think it was such a limbo for a while. I mean, I think we're still sort of in a limbo.
Yeah,
A lot of people
yeah,
are still.
yeah.
But it was it's just not knowing what's happening. No, our normal lives are gone. Everything we know about our daily routines, everything like that, it's just gone. And so that was pretty scary. But after a couple weeks of moping around the house,
We kind of went into this paralyzing shock almost for 2 weeks.
it was crazy.
And there was just you had no events planned. You were just
well, even our fall events were then how long is this gonna last?
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
emailing
Oh,
us
my goodness.
can you
almost just
put it on
preparing
pause?
for it.
Right.
Yeah,
And we're just
exactly.
oh my gosh, I don't know what if there is a second wave. I mean, we still don't know, but I feel we're a lot more mentally prepared right now than we
Yeah.
were for the first wave, because it happened in a days. Just days. We were making half of our yearly income was just gone. And so we're very lucky though to a lot of the brides and grooms. I will say I'm so grateful that they postponed. A lot of them postponed instead of canceled.
Rather than canceled.
And we haven't had all 50 people ask for refunds. But it was just a limbo, and I don't do good in limbo.
Yeah.
I need to know it coming. I mean, ever since I was little, I liked lists. I like planning. That's my thing. When I'm really sad, I like to plan, and I couldn't do that. And so that's why I felt like my brain broke. But
well, it's almost like there's nothing it was hard to plan for anything.
Yeah, what can you do?
Yeah.
I know, it's so hard. So anyway, I was on Instagram, and do you guys watch Shark Tank?
Yeah.
You probably do.
Uh-huh.
So
We love Shark Tank.
yeah, we do. So Barbara on Shark Tank posted on Instagram, and I read her caption, and it hit me to my core. And do you mind if I read it?
Yeah.
No, go for it.
Okay. I'm going to pull it up real fast. Okay.
Yeah, this was like a very pivotal moment during all this. No, I'm serious though. Like when you read that, you had this new light about the whole situation to like back to where we thought we could get through it.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just kind of looking for some motivation or something. So anyway, when I read this, it really struck me. Said, this pandemic reminds me so much of our other hard times that I've lived through trying to grow my business in NYC. I remember the stock market crashing and people truly believing we would never have a stock market again. Not a high stock market. I mean, we thought there would be no Wall Street. I remember 9/11, people believing NYC apartments would never sell again. I remember not having a single sale in my business with 1,000 agents for almost 3 months, and we thought surely we'd be out of business. But here's what I learned through all these crises through all the years. When things go south, they come back by storm. Every time business came to a screeching halt, there was a long silence. The smart people got creative and took advantage of that silence, while others folded their cards and went home. And I just read that and I was like, I am not folding my cards. I am not going home. So here we go. Get creative. And that, like, right after I read that, I was like, what can we do right now? Like, how can we bring money in right now? With COVID, with the buses. I mean, we have the buses. They're just sitting there. What do we do with them? And so, it really expanded our vision for Cruisin. I pitched the date nights to Austin. I was like, what do you think about people driving the buses and taking them out? I know it's scary, people getting behind like our precious little buses.
I don't know if you have kids or not, but it's like getting a new babysitter and you don't know if that babysitter is going to take care of your baby.
Yeah.
These buses are your kids, right?
Yeah, they were our first babies before our real babies.
Well, you put like
so much more than our
everything
buses.
into
Yeah, like we are so oddly emotionally attached to these vehicles.
And you guys have names for them, right?
Yeah.
What are they?
Milo, Millie, and Margot.
Okay,
All names.
Where did those
Those are
names
the
come from?
three. I don't even know. I just liked the name Milo. Oh, actually, my friend Susie said, "Oh, I like the name Milo and Ollie." And then I was like, I like Ollie too much, and that's actually the name of our son.
Yeah,
and so
you didn't want to use it on the bus.
I didn't want to name my bus that.
Yeah.
And so Milo was the first one. Millie, I just liked. I think my mom and my sister helped me come up with that one. And then Margot, I actually let our followers on Instagram name
Oh,
the third
that's
one.
cool.
So that was really fun.
That was a good name.
Is there a favorite child?
Millie.
I could tell you who the least favorite child is.
Margot.
That bus breaks down all the time.
I know, it's so hard,
She's
but-
broken down right now for that.
Yeah. But anyway, I was just trying to think of something we could do. So we came up with the date nights, and it has been such a hit. And I think that it's like really, just broadened our idea for Cruisin', that we're not just Cruisin' photo bus anymore. We're Cruisin' rentals. So we have, the ice cream bike, we have the photo bus, and now date nights, and other things to come.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that it's really transformed our business, which is wild to say, because this is like the worst thing that's ever happened to us, like if you asked us a month ago. And now it's like, oh, this has actually been kind of a blessing in disguise. It's been hard, but I think that people say, like, when you're uncomfortable, that's where growth comes from. And we were very uncomfortable.
Every time we grew, we were uncomfortable.
Yep. Yeah. So I definitely think that that's true.
That's cool. So with the date night, do people just rent it out for a night, or how does it work exactly?
Yeah, so we've got 3 packages. There's a 3-hour package, a 4-hour package, and a 5-hour package. They take the bus out. We meet up at a location just like you would meet in Uber, except I'm not driving you around, or our employees aren't driving you around.
Yeah.
They take the bus for the allotted time. They go have fun, do their date night. We do have add-ons to the packages, like we have a s'mores pack to where we pack little marshmallows and a campfire. Cool. We have a movie night pack to where we have this little projector and a projector screen. And
they do their own little drive-in theater, I guess, in the desert, something like that.
And then we have a local treats package to where, we have some local vendors that donate treats to us, and then we put them in a cooler for them, and so we kind of make it again more of an experience rather than just
cool.
And driving the bus is an experience in itself.
Oh, absolutely.
It's been really fun to see like people come back and people just say like, oh my gosh, I need a bus. That's the coolest. It was so fun. It was the best date. And that's honestly probably my most favorite date nights with you are when we're driving the bus around town. Just because we don't really drive our kids in them. But we did once, but we probably won't ever do it again, just because they're a little, they're a little old, a little dangerous. No AC, it's hot here. So really hot. Anyway, our favorite date nights are in the bus, and to be able to share that with people, it feels a lot more genuine than even the photo bus, because it's just like why we love the buses. We get to share that with other people. It's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how's the reception been to that?
It's been really good, actually. So we've had a couple friends of ours take the buses out and to help us market the concept and whatnot, and we've had really good reception in that regard, and that kind of launched that whole side to the rentals.
People have loved the idea. I mean, I think that they really think, like, just picturing like, oh my gosh, we can drive the bus around, like take it to the lake or watch a movie in it.
It's something you don't, I mean, unless you know somebody that owns one of those cars, and the cars are so, what's the word? They've got so much character in them, and there's stories in those vehicles. I know it sounds silly, but
it's true. I mean, it's just a unique experience.
It totally
it's different, and I think people really like that idea of being like, oh wow, this is really different, this is cool. It's not like a normal date night, and it could be anything, like a girls' night or whatever, but I think people really been excited about it for sure.
We had a great response, and we were even looking at getting a fourth bus straight up for the date night option. Because we know that come fall, when the weather cools down, it's really
gonna be a hit.
Right. So. Well, it's cool since you have all these people that know about the bus because they got married. Now they can use it again for their date nights out.
Exactly.
Yeah, you gotta take it out.
Yeah, reoccurring. Yeah, there you go. You can take it.
You got me convinced. Experience. I just don't know if I should take Ridge or Lauren with me.
There we go. Boys' night.
Make sure he has a date.
All right. I'll work on that.
And then make sure we're at your wedding once you marry the girl.
It's already in the plan. It's already in the plan.
It'll be soon.
She doesn't know, but I
know. So I guess looking back now, is there anything that you feel like you would have done different, or you could have done different to prepare? Obviously, like, no one could have prepared really for COVID and everything that came with that. But anything you would have done to just be a bit more prepared for that, or prepared for something else in the future that happens that's just completely unexpected?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to talk about it?
Oh, I don't know what you're going to say.
Well,
read his mind.
I was just going to say, this has really brought into perspective a lot of things, but one, finances.
Yeah.
How easily money can come in, and how easily money can go out, and how you think you can be doing great, and then all of a sudden the light can turn off, so to speak. So it's taught us a lot about budgeting, and as business owners, budgeting business expenses and salaries, because we do have employees as well, and we just brought on a full-time manager last week, actually.
Well, we hired her actually before COVID, and
That's
then
true,
we had to put it all on pause because we didn't,
shoot.
we reorganized our whole business the week before we went on vacation, and then while we were there, everything happened. But
and that's a good point. Like she said, we reorganized our business right before all of the COVID-19 stuff happened, so we had the right principles and the right mindset in place.
Yeah.
We just did it too late. to where we weren't necessarily prepared for
Right.
the pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that, I struggle with that mindset so much of like holding your money tight, because I think that that's where a lot of our success has come, is because we risked a lot,
Yeah, 'cause
and
we spend money.
we invest so much in our business, and I feel like that's why we've been able to like grow like exponentially, and so I do struggle with that, because I think like money just flows instead of like you got to hang on to it. But this definitely kind of changed my perspective a little bit. I still think that it's worth, like, you are still worth the investment, and your business is still worth, like, whatever you put in, you'll get back tenfold. It's always happened for us that way. But like, it is always good to have a backup plan, and we didn't have a backup
we
plan.
had zero
so
backup plan.
yeah,
We'd always sorry.
no, go ahead.
We'd always been so used to investing in ourselves, and I like going back to how we didn't graduate. We do value education, but I think we just really believed in ourselves to where we would rather invest in ourselves than in going to school or doing something else. I don't know where I was going with that, to be honest.
Well, where did you guys learn to just invest in yourself and take risks and invest in the business as well? Like, was that something you guys were taught, or something that you think is just natural in you?
I think we were both taught to be resilient, not necessarily financially, but just in life. And again, not biased, but Sammie is one of the most resilient people I've ever met, knowing her life and, the things that she's accomplished.
I mean, you two with your trip from Seattle, right?
Yeah,
I'm just blinded by love. she attacks problems like head on. I'm just blinded.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Thank you though for saying that.
Yeah, sorry. What was your
That's
question
sweet.
again?
What was
Sorry.
my question?
It was resilience. How have they built
Oh,
resilience?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Has somebody taught you about
Investing in
resilience?
yourself.
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
risks.
I think that our parents, all of them, have been, really like good examples in our lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
I, come from really creative family. My grandpa and my mom are really creative. Like, all my parents are really creative, and both of my dads own their own businesses.
Oh, okay,
and
so you have entrepreneurship in the family.
Yeah, but I really never paid attention to it that much. It's so funny. I didn't really even notice till after we started our own business, and I was like, oh, yeah, you own your own business too. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So we both are
So you
doing
just
the
grew
same
up
thing.
around it, and it was just
Yeah,
what
it
you
was just
knew.
kind
It
of
wasn't-
normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And to add to that, I definitely think we both got it from the way we were raised, being resilient, but also I think we brought that out in each other too.
totally.
Throughout our marriage, not even in business, but like no marriage is perfect. I would say we have an awesome relationship. We hardly ever fight, especially for how much we work and spend
right.
time
I mean, we
together.
spend a lot of time together.
Yeah,
We work
yeah.
together.
How do you
know,
think, because we've heard like a lot of people can have troubles with like, family and business. How do you think you guys have balanced that? Sorry, it's kind of off track.
No, it's a great
that's
question.
fine. Yeah.
For starters, I think we complement each other really well.
How so? Like, what are your strengths?
Yeah.
Well,
ahead.
Austin is very kind, very gentle. He's kind of like this. My mom calls him a gentle giant. Our family.
Which is funny
Teddy
because I'm
bear.
not that big.
I
I do go to the gym as much
No.
as I can.
you tower over my family. That's why. Anyway, so I just think that I'm a little bit more, I guess, passionate would be a nice way to
You
say
show your
it.
passion
I'm
in a
like
different
a little
way.
feistier, and
Passionate's a good word.
yeah.
Passionate's a good word.
So we're very, not to say that he doesn't have passion in him and I don't have like gentleness about me. We're just,
not at
we're
all.
both, we have different strengths, different weaknesses, but we're also very alike in a lot of ways that make us work well together. So we have differences that make us work well together, and we have things that make us, or that we're really alike in some ways that are great. Like we like the same things, we enjoy the same things.
Yeah.
And so, people are saying like, oh, you got to have me time in marriage. I got to get he's got to go join a baseball team and you got to do something. But honestly, I feel like a lot of our things that we both enjoy, we are like, well, I like to do that too. Can I come? And we just do it
Yeah.
together, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just like,
We're best friends by choice, and we work well together. I think one thing that really helped us was dividing tasks. Because it's so easy to feel like both of us have to do everything, rather than, you know, these are my responsibilities and these are her responsibilities, and you take care of your own responsibilities. And when we established that and a few other, you know, minor details, that's when our business started to really groove, so to speak.
Yeah.
and we did like take into account our strengths and weaknesses. Like,
Yeah,
Austin's really good
absolutely.
with tasks and checking off boxes. I'm really good at coming up with different
Yeah,
concepts,
being
marketing,
creative and marketing and
connecting, networking, and stuff like that. So we are very evenly tasked, I feel.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
We just also work as a team. Like I've never felt like any jealousy or resentment. You know, sometimes it's not like one or the other. It's kind of like, oh my gosh, you did that. That's awesome. Or let's do this. It's actually always like a let's do this. And you know, even with Austin's like real estate company, it's like it's a lot of. I'm not super involved with that anymore, but it's always a let's do this. It's like kind of like we're just a team. We're just making it happen. Cause I definitely feel like we're more like lifestyle entrepreneurs. The money isn't really what drives us, but more of like achieving, like being able to live in a certain neighborhood, being able to provide this for our kids, and all that.
and spending time together as a family, even just having the lifestyle of an entrepreneur, which you can take both ways. But we have a 4-year-old boy and a 2-year-old girl, and there is nothing more important than spending time with them. And what we do with real estate and with Cruisin, and Cruisin's really allowed us to do it for over 4 years now, is spend days on end quality time with our babies, which we will never regret.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that really drives us too, is the idea almost of regret of like, you know, I don't want to regret this. I don't want to.
You can't get those years back.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't want to be like old and being like, dang, I was way too like involved in work or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. And so we actually split, like I said, evenly tasked. You know, Austin will have a work day. I'll have a work day. And
That's cool.
And so
awesome.
if either
While the
one
other-
is spending time
Exactly,
with kids,
yeah.
and we have a lot of family time together, and you know, I said our business is seasonal, so that also Austin will be doing a lot of events. I'll be at home more, and then during summer we're home together all the time. And so I mean, me and Austin, we've spent maybe 10 days apart from each other our whole marriage, and we've been together for 5 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and
Probably
honestly,
even when we're engaged, like
that's true.
I mean, and we're together like 24/7. So I mean, I don't know if there's anybody in the world that I could like be together so much with, and not be annoyed with. We get annoyed of each other. But
Like I said, our marriage isn't perfect, but it is. I feel like we have such a strong foundation, and we can weather a lot.
And we're good at taking work off. Like we're.
We are really good at taking
We're good at that. And
That's
so,
the secret, right?
There you go.
Yeah,
It's just hard to like kind of rein in the ideas sometimes together when we're like on a road trip and we got this notebook and we're just writing the ideas down and drawing
That's true.
pictures
That's
and
true.
the drawing board for this business that we never pursue or whatever. I mean, there's so many ideas.
Yeah.
But it's like hard to kind of pull that in and be like, okay, let's talk about like life and not work and not like whatever. It's a little bit hard, but just because we enjoy it so much, and that's something that we really love to do together is like dream and visualize things, and it's really fun working together. I really love it, and I want to do it forever. So
I honestly don't.
Awesome.
Like we have many more ideas and goals and aspirations, but the concept of us working together, I don't think will ever change.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
cool.
even if I said his real estate, I'm kind of like more behind the scenes, but it's still like a team effort for sure.
Yeah.
And so that's how we always view it, and so I think that's why it works so well.
Yeah.
So that's how we both see it.
That's a really good point.
Cool.
Do you spend more time cleaning your pool than you spend swimming in it? Then call Flamingo Pools today. Flamingo Pools is your go-to swimming pool maintenance and repair company in the East Valley. Whether it's weekly maintenance, repairs, green to cleans, or one-time cleanings, Flamingo Pools will take care of you. Honest, reliable, and innovative. Just a few of the many good things Flamingo Pools customers have to say about them. Ask them about their mineral treatment. which will keep your chemical levels down, allowing you to have a healthier bathing experience. At Flamingo Pools, they know that your pool was made to be enjoyed, so let them handle the rest. Check them out at azflamingopools.com or give them a call at 480-422-6013. Mention this podcast and you'll get your first month of maintenance completely free. That's azflamingopools.com and 480-422-6013.
You mentioned that money isn't really like a motivation for you guys. So what does success look like to you guys? Like, what's your ultimate goal?
To live on the beach.
That's funny. I was going to say to live on a lot of land.
A lot of land on the beach.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Let's compromise there. I think that really the success of like having no regrets, like really looking back on your life and totally thinking like, I don't know, like that was awesome. Mm-hmm. Like I think that would be successful, whether it's, you know, whether material items are involved in that or not. I think that definitely spending time with your loved ones, that's something that you would never regret, is investing in people instead of things. I think that that's something that, not to say that things are bad, but like that's just something I know that, you know, I will never regret. And that's what success looks like for me. It's not necessarily like the material items, even though that stuff is nice. And living on the beach on a lot of land, whatever that is. but yeah, you know, I just think definitely success is looking back and knowing that you invested in people and you were a good, you know, ripple, you know, in the water, you know, you caused like a good effect.
Yeah.
I think that's success. And that could be in business and that can be at home. I think home would be the best part of that, but yeah.
Yeah, no, those are really good points. Like success for me, I think is along the same lines. It doesn't, I mean, money, you have bills to pay. Like obviously you have to make money, but I don't think it's ever really been that important in our marriage to a degree where like we're sacrificing everything for money. Yeah. Success, I think Sammie said it really well. Like I would feel successful if I had little regrets at the end of my life. If I was able to know that I soaked up every single moment with my kids that I could, and you know, this might sound dumb, but like love my wife passionately and she never felt alone or not loved, like, and being able to create an environment where you can feel all that with the people that you love. I don't know, that's success to me. For
sure. And even talking about business, like that's like, I guess, personal success, like in our life for sure. But in the business, like switching gears, wearing a different hat as a business owner, what does success look like? Still, like the money really doesn't drive us. It's the lifestyle that like we can provide for our family. Yeah. But also I really just love the process. Like I love the creative process. I love coming up with like the design, the branding, or the different marketing ideas. I just love that process, and we both do. And so everybody has different, I think there's a lot of different kinds of entrepreneurs, but I feel like that's kind of what we identify with the most is the process and the lifestyle, kind of a mix of both of those. So
yeah. And hold on, let me grab my thought. Yeah, whatever. I can't remember.
You don't remember what you were gonna say? Business mindset, wearing a hat, different hat.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Process.
I remember.
Okay. What?
That was really impressive.
Power couple right there. See that?
Oh no,
that
we do nice. That all the time. Or I said she does that too.
We might have to leave that part. Yeah, that was wow.
But
do you guys do that to each other too?
Yeah, power couple. Forget about marriage.
His wife gets a little jealous sometimes.
Competition. Who's the better power couple?
We should have like a game show of that.
It's next episode.
But no, what I was gonna say is, I think another idea of success is doing something that you love.
Yeah,
totally.
And if you had asked me if I would ever start a photo booth business 5 years ago, I would have said there's no chance.
Yeah,
but
even me, I'm like, that's not my like necessarily passion.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not, but it does genuinely make people happy, and we love the vehicles, and like it creates a great lifestyle. Like, we love the business, we love what we do,
right,
because of those reasons. And same with all the other ideas that we've come up with and things
right.
we've pursued.
It also provides a platform for us to be able to do like even the little things that we enjoy, whether it's like feeling successful by like crossing things off, or feeling successful by providing for your family, feeling successful by like even like little talents. Like, he gets to connect with so many people, and he's a very big people person, and that's awesome. And people love the buzz. He gets to be at events where people are happy and they're celebrating, and that's great. And I really love the creative process, and that is a venue for me to do that too. So it's not necessarily like the whole business is our passion. And I think we do have other ideas, that are like kind of on the back burners right now that we're still hanging on to, for sure, that we want to pursue later, that I think are definitely more encompassing of our passions. But this is just a venue to even do the small things that we're passionate about and learn. It's a really good learning experience. This is like our first business that we're talking about with Cruisin, and it's been a really good stepping stone for us. So
Would you say that this is like, it's an avenue or a bridge that's leading you to other possible passions and things that you can pursue in the future?
I think in general, absolutely. Not like we talked about in the beginning, Cruisin has become more of an umbrella and more of a brand and an experience based business, to where, there's different ways we could take that. But in general, this has really helped us grow and helped us go down a path that will lead us to developing other ideas that are completely different. But it's given us the foundation to work off of and the skills of hard work and educating yourself and pushing through the grind. Because like, we've been doing Cruisin for 4 years. In the beginning, it was hard. Like, she was pregnant and we would roll to weddings together.
Right.
And
it was super hard.
It's not all sunshine and rainbows.
No, it's not. There's just so much behind the scenes that is really hard that people know nothing about. Like when Austin lost his job and we got the second bus, like, not a lot of people know that. There's just a lot of behind the scenes that have like pushed us forward. But I think that you asked the question, what do you think is successful? I think that even with this whole COVID thing as an example, basically just like grabbing onto the things that you can control and being in control is success for me. Like, I just think that, or for anybody, like when I look at people, even if their business like lasted a year or two and then like moved on to something else, I don't really think that that's a failure. I think that Cruisin's not directly given us like taken us to like our next steps, but it's taught us a lot. And it's taught us a lot of things that we can control. Even with this COVID thing, I just would say, even to any small business owner, I think that a lot of things that you control is your work ethic. You can always control your work ethic. You control to fold your cards and go home, or you can get creative and you can work hard, and you can control your time. That's something that you usually have control over. And then also your creativity. Like, you totally have control of that, and your attitude, your mindset. So just being able to really hang on to those things that you can control, I think that that's success. Like, what the outcome is, just knowing that you're doing 100% your part.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point. I think, like, looking back, out of everything we've learned from this business is that when your back's up against the wall, rather than get out from under the pressure and give up, I guess, find a way to adapt and make it work. And those principles can be applied to anything in life. And so I think, for me, that's kind of what I've taken from this business, is that we have the ability to get ourselves out of tough situations, but really thrive in tough situations too.
Right. And honestly, just, what is our business? We're a photo booth bus. Like, what the heck? Like, what? Yeah. Like, we're not some huge company. We're just like the tiniest niche of like the wedding industry. Seriously, we are a photo booth business. Like, we're a photo booth bus. Like, I mean, it's like not some huge thing, but we're able to like take that and like, so I'm just seriously like,
But now you're building a brand off of it, though.
Yeah, it's true. We are.
And that goes with adapting and being creative. Like, you can turn the smallest little thing into something that's
Totally.
really, really
Yeah, I
cool.
think it's so important for other
Totally.
businesses, like
Yeah.
taking what you have and branding it and
Yeah,
kind of creating an
branding is the
umbrella like
best.
you guys have
Yeah.
done with other avenues.
Yeah,
For sure.
You never want to put a ceiling on your ideas or your beliefs, and like sometimes, man, I really take it up to the sky when you say an idea, and I'm like, oh, and we could do this, and we could do
Oh,
that,
I
and
know.
that.
It's
And then she's like, okay, calm down.
I know,
Come back
and
to
there's
earth a
just
bit.
been 100 of them. Like I was cleaning out an old closet last weekend, and I
Uh-huh.
found an old booklet that we had of old like business ideas, or there's a couple pages in there. I was like, oh my gosh, completely forgot. We want to start like a Christmas card company.
yeah.
Like, what?
It was called the 1512 Project.
Which is so weird. I don't even know. It was like
Still own the
it was like
LLC.
supposed to be some charity thing that was like we're giving the card away. I don't even know what it was.
I
And it was just like the
remember that.
dumbest. Like, all right, I say the dumbest things, but seriously, out of all of them, like a photo booth bus got like successful. Has been able to provide such a wonderful lifestyle for us. We've been able to learn so much, meet so many great people.
Yeah.
Be a part of so many people's happy days, you know,
Yeah.
and it's been awesome. And I just would have never thought. And so, like people that are like, oh, no one would do this. Like no one would buy this. This is too weird, or like it's too much of a niche. But I think it's actually in Shark Tank where I heard it was like it's like there's riches in the niches. And
I like that. Yeah.
but there really is. And so I just don't even care how weird it is or
Yeah.
whatever. You can seriously be successful if you basically are in control.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you guys totally have made a lot of people happy. I just had a thought. I still have a picture from your guys' bus in my car from his wedding.
No way.
Yeah, so
How long ago was that?
this was over a year ago.
Almost 2 years.
Really?
Almost 2 years,
Wow.
yeah. And I still have it in my car with all my buddies.
it's so fun.
Yeah.
It's
So,
so fun.
It's from your guys'
Yeah.
bus, so
That's awesome.
Uh-huh.
And things like that. It's really cool to hear that. Like,
Yeah.
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 like I don't know. It really solidifies the fact that what we are doing really brings joy to people. It makes it worth our time.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's
I
awesome.
remember seeing on Instagram a while ago when you guys bought one of your buses. Did you buy a business as well with that?
We
Sort of, kind of.
we bought out Phoenix Photo Bus.
Okay.
Which so when we started, like I said, we were the only ones. I think now there like are 7 photo booth
Oh, wow.
buses
Goodness.
in
Phoenix
Arizona.
makes
Yeah,
Really?
in Phoenix.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It's your guys' idea though. So.
Well, actually, I wouldn't even say it's our idea because, like,
'Cause
I
there's
mean, the
other
idea
places.
existed.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
I just
we
think that we
brought
made
it
a different.
we brought it to Arizona.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
well, and to that point though, like Sammie was super innovative and creative to make it our own.
Yes.
And I think you can
Yes,
do that.
exactly.
There are so few new ideas out there.
Yeah.
But there are a lot
seriously.
of newly created ideas that already existed, and you put
Yeah.
your own spin on
tweak
it.
it, yeah.
you
Everybody's
tweak it.
different. Everybody has room. You know, everybody can
Yeah.
do their own thing. The other photo booths, we actually like refer business to a lot of them. Like
Oh,
we
really?
talk back and forth. It's not like, yeah, because they look totally different than us. And
Right.
if we don't have a date available, we send it their way. If they don't have a date available, they'll send it to us.
Oh, cool.
That's
And
cool.
so we also just like looked very differently. Our branding's different,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
cater to a completely different, event, bride. And so, and that, I mean, I'm back to what our business is. We are a photo booth bus, like such a niche. Like there is another company, there's 7 other companies in our area, and we are doing fine.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
and I
crazy.
think that
Yeah,
they are
that's
doing
awesome.
fine. There is plenty of business for everybody. Everybody is so unique. Everybody's branding is different.
Yeah.
It does bother me sometimes when people like directly copy us. That I won't like say it doesn't, because that'd be a lie. It does bother me when sometimes like people copy us like very directly, but it's just
Yeah.
part of business,
Yeah.
It's just what happens.
But it creates awareness for the concept in general when there's other people.
Yeah.
doing it, right?
Totally.
That's
You know-
sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and that's a really good point. One, the competition has really upped our game. If we had no
Yeah.
competition, we would not have grown at nearly as like the
Yeah.
rate that we had.
Totally.
Yeah.
And like you said, it creates awareness of the concept so that when people see a bus with a photo booth in it, they don't necessarily wonder what it is, but like, oh, that's a photo booth bus, and then they go Google it, and we're the first one that pops up.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
awareness actually helped our business.
bet.
I know. I was so nervous. I saw 3 pop up in 1 month. It was
Really?
like
Wow.
2 years ago. And
really
it was actually
weird.
like one of our neighbors like down the street rolled up with a VW bus, and I was like, wait a second.
Don't even get her started on that.
Oh, stop. I'm over it. But I was just very mad at the time. But then I was like, you know what? Like, we have a totally different brand and we're just different. And I know that I can bring a creativeness, I guess, to the business that is different than theirs.
Yeah.
So I was like, not worried about it. And I shouldn't have been, because it actually like boosted our business a ton because of the awareness, like what you said.
Yeah.
Puts a fire under you to just be better.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfectly said. Puts a fire under you.
Yeah.
So when you bought that other business, did that come with like a customer base? It was like, what was the benefit of buying a business rather than just getting a bus and fixing it up?
That's
They
a good
didn't
question.
have a lot of customers.
Not a lot of customers.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they handed off 4 or 5
Yeah,
weddings.
and I mean, like, we do 150, so to us that was like not a big incentive,
Yeah.
not a big deal to us.
Yeah.
the value of the business was really in the vehicle at that
Okay.
point.
Yeah, and just buying out competition.
Yeah,
There
that's
was 2
very
other
true.
people
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
at the bus
Good point.
that
And-
wanted to do the same thing as us, and we're like, well, we can add a third bus and buy out the competition, and we
Yeah.
just knocked out 3 right there.
Nice.
So that's kind of like why we did it. And it
And
was great for us.
even though he didn't they didn't do necessarily a ton of events, they were still very well branded and like held a decent presence. So it was good for us to buy out the business, so to speak. They
And we
helped us.
painted it, and people love the color, and it really was huge for us. I mean, that really launched us, and we've been really good at launching things and promoting things, I think, by accident. Honestly, it's not really like anything we know a whole lot about, but we've learned because we're like, whoa, that worked. Why did it work? Let's back it up, you know?
Yeah, we are pretty good at analyzing things like that.
Yeah, so we're like, okay, let's go backwards and see what steps we did, because that was crazy how many bookings we got in June when we got that bus. We did the Arizona Bridal Show. We launched it. So we launched the bus, announced that we were buying the business,
Then did
launched
the
the
bridal
color,
show.
had them name the bus, then did the bridal show, and people were really kind of like keeping up with it, and it was just
I think we booked 36 events that month,
Wow.
which
It
for
was
us is a
insane.
big deal.
yeah. And then we were averaging like 18 events a month.
We averaged about 18 bookings a month, and so to double our average was like, whoa. That
And
was
then
awesome.
COVID hit, and we averaged 3. I
Average
think.
got brought
We
down.
don't get back into that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
COVID's a thing of the
PTSD.
past.
Yeah, we're moving on. So
Cool.
yeah.
I know we're running out of time here, but I just have
Yeah.
one more question for you guys. I know you mentioned around COVID you kind of restructured the business. I'm always curious to hear how people structure and organize, their employees in the business. So do you guys mind touching on, I guess, what it was, what you restructured it to, and then what your roles are in the business as well?
Yeah. One thing that we really put an emphasis on was the system, the computer software that runs our business. We use a software called Honeybook. It's like a CRM management software. And
It's
that,
really great. I highly recommend it for anybody in the event business.
for the event business, it's awesome. It really systemized every part of our business, and we used to do like Gmail and
sending
Google
contracts back and
Calendar.
forth,
Yeah, like-
attaching the contracts via email, and
Uh-huh.
and this system is just awesome. People
all
inquire
streamlined.
from our website, it goes to our pipeline in our Honeybook, like our CRM, and it just moves through however long. They can sign it on the website like DocuSign, and then we can send them a brochure. They can see all the information right there, and the questionnaire, like to make sure the event goes smoothly. Then we can print that out, give it to our drivers, and everything is just so streamlined and smooth.
Yeah. So that's been one thing that we've done to really boost our business or
Organized.
reorganize our business. And then we have, before COVID happened, we had 4 drivers. We had just brought on our 4th driver. And then like Sammie said, we had brought on a manager prior to COVID and then put that on hold until just recently. So honestly, like employees are something that, we're still learning about. And again, trial and error.
Yeah, and we just started like doing like books, more like hiring things out, like do what you do best, hire out the rest. That's what we've been implementing it, and it's been wonderful.
To answer what your question was and what are our roles in the business now, I mean, once we get our manager trained, we will be extremely hands off, which is such a good feeling to have residual income for something that we did spend a lot of time building over the past 4 years. But to have that residual income will be really nice.
That's really cool. And we did structure it and organize it. So basically what we took home was to pay our bills and to pay Cruisin's bills, and or Cruisin paid Cruisin bills, and then we paid ourselves to pay our own bills. And there was enough left over to hire employee, enough left over for other employees to work the events. Like the person that's going to be doing our books, and then the accountant and stuff like that. So we just kind of took the minimum to pay our bills, because we're really trying to start like putting our head, like making more space in our head for Prosper Real Estate, which Austin is more focused on right now. And so that's just kind of how we organized it, is because we're ready to move on to the next thing, basically, which this is more passive, which we still love it, and we're still involved, and I'm still going to be throwing in the ideas here and there. Yeah. But we are kind of shifting gears a little bit, at least right now.
Yeah. Well, it's cool to be able to build it up where it can kind of run itself, and it becomes, like you said, a passive stream of income.
It's scary to hire on like a salaried manager. Like, I mean, it's, $30,000 of revenue that maybe would have came to us, but we're deciding to pay it to somebody else so that we can pursue other passions. Like, that is a huge leap in somebody's business.
Because no one's going to care about your business as much as you do. It's just that no one's going to care as much. But you have to let go a little bit to move forward. You do. And so that's what we're trying to do, is move forward in kind of a different direction, shifting gears, like I said.
In the week and a half that we have been training our manager, great things have happened with making money elsewhere, with real estate or whatever it is. Like, so I feel like when you fully commit to make the leap and whatever it is, if you commit to it long enough, you'll start to see the reward come in. And that's, I think, what we're at the beginning stages of.
Well said.
Awesome.
I like it.
Awesome. Well, Dallin just stole my last question, so I was going to ask the exact same thing. So it's kind of it for me.
Dang it.
Okay. Well, we're not done yet. Before we close up, we've got a little game we want to play with you guys.
I love games.
So how it's going to go is you have 60 seconds to answer as many questions as you guys can. So it'll be rapid fire. We'll just go back and forth, and you guys will just answer.
Back and forth?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1.
Favorite junk food?
Chocolate.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Flying.
Music you turn on when nobody's around?
Oh, like hip hop rap for sure.
Nice.
If you could have dinner with anyone in time, who would it be?
Oh, Russell Wilson.
What?
Or my wife.
No. I was going to say Alexander Hamilton. I thought you would say that.
No. Favorite quote?
Oh, shoot. You know what? I have so many.
If you're not living life on the edge, you're taking up too much space.
Oh, that's you, but no, that's not about me.
Nice.
Best business book you've read?
Oh, Contagious.
Best podcast?
Local Hustler.
There we go.
TV show you could binge watch?
Friends.
Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
LeBron.
No.
Sorry.
If you could swim in any liquid, what would it be?
Chocolate.
Yeah, she's a chocolate freak.
If you could have...
Oh, we're... Time. Sorry,
okay.
didn't go
All
over
right.
on.
I like that game.
No, that was fun.
I think we got 7. Not bad.
We got a lot.
I know,
It was
we
good.
answered a lot of those together.
I like how you answered them together.
Yeah,
friends.
You both knew it was
Chocolate.
I know. I should have known
awesome.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe
a
I'll
diehard
say
Seahawks fan.
Big Seahawks fan.
Yeah, huge.
That's hard.
Always
for
been a Seahawks fan? Or?
He's
I
from
grew
Seattle.
up there, yeah.
Oh, that's
Okay.
right. That's right. Okay.
Where at?
Like in like 15 minutes south of Seattle.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
My grandma lives in Gig Harbor. We'll take.
Oh,
us all
really?
off, but yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, are you a Cardinals fan, I presume?
Oh, absolutely.
They're honestly going to be, I think they'll be decent this year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
we're pumped.
I'm not a Cardinals hater by any means. I actually like the Cardinals. Because I love Larry Fitzgerald. That dude is
he's
a
awesome.
Class A human being.
Yeah.
And athlete. And Kyler Murray's he's a star.
He's
too.
a stud.
And then freaking
Chandler Jones.
no, oh my gosh, DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh,
Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Incredible too.
I do, yeah.
Sounds like,
I just go on the NFL app every now and again.
good stuff.
Good.
Well, hey guys, thank you guys so much for coming on today. It's been awesome talking to you guys about everything you're doing and learning a
That
lot
was-
from
yeah.
you.
That was
Why don't you
really
tell
fun.
our listeners where they can find you and get signed up for you guys if they're
For all your
interested?
businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
Okay.
everything.
Yeah.
So Cruisin is like on Instagram. It's pretty much just Instagram, Pinterest. We don't really do anything with Facebook, but Cruisin on Instagram is the @ and then CruisinPhotobus. So Cruisin Photobus. And then our email is the same, cruisinphotobus@gmail. And
You can find me. I don't really do the whole personal social media stuff, but Prosper Homes _ is the Instagram handle.
and then
Yeah.
Cruisin Creamery, I think it's just the @ and Cruisin Creamery.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
yeah.
Reach
And then our
out.
website is just the same thing. It's www.cruisinphotobus, CruisinPhotobus.com.
Sweet.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Okay.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
Thank
Yeah,
you
thank you
so
guys.
much.
That was
This
super
awesome.
fun.
We'll see ya.